We decided to plant Luffa gourd last spring, but I had to convince myself that it would be okay to have the seedlings planted on the ground that gets late spring frost and had limited organic matter. I knew taro resembles much with the Luffa regarding the soil and other growing conditions, and hence, as an experiment, I planted a few edible taro bulbs over the last fall. It was in early summer, and I was right about the growing conditions, as when the temperature started to rise, taro stems had not only emerged, but the leaves were burned out already as the weather got hot quickly.
The Luffa vine is an aggressive climber and needs plenty of space to grow, so developing a strong trellis support up to the height of 6 to 10 feet by using locally available materials like pipes, bamboo, ropes, wires, or a ladder is essential. As the ridge gourd begin to grow, its tendrils begin to appear. These tendrils are used by the plants to support the neighboring plants or to climb above other structure. The ridge gourd is commonly known as Luffa or sponge gourd. It is considered as summer veggie in India and is known as Turai or Chinese okra. They require moist soil as sufficient moisture ensures the rapid growth of the plant. For the first harvest, they usually takes about 2 weeks after flowering and successful pollination. The vines need support for vertical growth unless one prefers them to creep on the ground. They require a good amount of sunlight, at least 6 to 8 hours per day. If the Luffa gourd is flowering but not fruiting, then it's due to the dominant male flowers or lack of enough female flowers required for pollination. They start dropping flowers when there is no sufficient water or due to overwatering. If the fruit is not harvested when it is in the young stage, the skin becomes thick and the fruits will be inseparable with lots of fiber from inside. We had planted watermelons and cucumbers on the same raised beds that we had dedicated for growing pumpkins. Our objective last growing season was to observe and learn if pumpkins, cucumbers, and watermelons could be planted and grown together. We had no clue what kind of pest and disease problems we would encounter, but the raised bed had full sun exposure and excellent drainage. We avoided shaded wet areas since the vines would not thrive and also waited until the soil warmed to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Plants belonging to the Cucurbitaceae family produce separate male and female blooms in the same plant. Also, insects are usually required to cross-pollinate blooms. The pumpkins and squashes do not cross-pollinate with cucumbers and watermelons. We knew even plants that cross-pollinate do not affect each other's taste in the current year. Only the upspring next year could get affected. Pumpkin, especially an Indian variety, is a good source of vitamin A and potassium and helps to boost eye vision, lowers blood pressure, and has antioxidant properties. Its leaves, young stems, fruit juice, and flowers contain medicinal properties. The pumpkin seeds that we bought were an Indian vining variety that we got from True Love Seeds. We were specifically focused on the harvest of the shoots and leaves of the vining cultivar. To our surprise, at the end of the growing season, we got a good amount of pumpkin shoots and flowers which we harvested along with cucumbers and watermelons, and there were just a few squash bugs hanging around.